With the recent release of Tears of the Kingdom, everyone has been talking about and playing Zelda. It is without a doubt the most popular game in the series, and as a result, I am seeing more new fans than ever. I could not be happier. However, there is one little problem. Back when Breath of the Wild first released, people around me for the first time ever were excited to play a Zelda game. My favorite franchise. I had hoped that the fun they had with the game would encourage them to go back and experience the other entries, but well, that didn't happen. Now, years later, I held out hope again, but no. Once again, it feels like it's not happening. Why? As Tears of the Kingdom is such an objective improvement over Breath of the Wild, it seems to have created a misconception that Zelda games improve with each entry. For most of the franchise's history, the games couldn't really be considered direct improvements. They never built on something like Tears of the Kingdom. Each installment did its own thing, each one a unique spin on The Legend of Zelda. Let's not gatekeep Zelda, okay? If you find it difficult to play these games or can't even come across them, that's fine. Then welcome to Ocarina of Time. Before I fully get into it, while scripting, I was watching the only podcast I truly like, Sad Boys. They had gren on as a guest and eventually started talking about Zelda, specifically about Zelda storytelling. They directly said that it was bad, poorly written, and obtuse. While it is true that the sense of adventure and gameplay are the primary focus of the series, let's not discount the entire franchise's narrative, because Breath of the Wild has some clunky line delivery. While yes, Zelda lore is often convoluted and complicated, it is only one mode of storytelling they use. The individual tales these games tell can be genuinely impactful, intentionally or not. This is the primary method of analysis we'll be using throughout the series. Don't worry, it won't be all serious. I will still be my own poopy fart self. just watch the fuck you. A nightmare, a potent thing, so vivid and real it feels almost prophetic. This is the stark opening of Ocarina of Time. One of the most game ever. The Great Deku Tree, an ancient figure and the guardian of the forest, sends us that something is wrong, and therefore sends a fairy to a kid. This is Navi. No, not like the Avatar people, it's just a ball. Navi attempts to wake our hero, Link, up. He's too busy fucking sleeping. He wakes up and hears Navi out. She needs him to go to the Great Deku Tree. Link gets up and yeah, that's rough. Chances are the footage I'm showing you is enhanced in some way. Even at that, this game is old. It is nearly 25 years old. It is a bit clunky, a bit chunky, but I promise if you can look past that, you'll find something amazing. Just to be clear, I was considering using footage from the 3DS remaster, but as pretty as that game is, it does lose some of the power of the original by dumbing it down, brightening it up, and removing anything that might raise the game's age rating. Link steps out into Kokiri Forest, home to guess what the Kokiri. It's a bustling day out in the woods, and Link's best friend Saria wants to see him. She's surprised to see he finally has a fairy, as all Kokiri are supposed to have one, but he didn't. Unfortunately, Link can't follow his orders as Mido is blocking off access to the Great Deku Tree because he is a little bitch. Apparently it's too unsafe, so Link has to get a sword and a shield. Link can crawl through a hole in the wall to find the... How is that moving? That is not how boulders work. Regardless, he can acquire the Kokiri sword. 40 rupees. That's how much a slab of tree bark costs? With that, he has a sword and shield and can show Mido who's boss. He complains that Link is Saria and the Great Deku Tree's favorite and sulks out of the way. The Great Deku Tree is still fucking awesome to this day. I'm sorry, but he fucks. Not, like, literally. The music, the lighting, the theme is intimidating. Is it from the possibility of a threat? The heavy burden he's about to place on Link? Or, you know, the fact that he's an incomprehensible ancient power, acting as a father figure. Imagine Link's perspective. It might be an aspect that's been lost to time, but I mean, it is kinda unnerving to be staring down a massive tree god, the giver of life to many in the forest. He asks if Link is ready and opens his big maw. After being forwarded by Plant Dad, Link has to try his best to save him, making his way through the treacherous wooden caverns, using a slingshot, sticks, and his nut. Link has to use a surprising amount of fire, which given where he is, could go horribly wrong. The Deku Scrubs at the bottom of the tree will not open the door to their queen, unless it is in the right order. I don't get this one. I'm not one to shit on the things people love, but I mean, we can all agree the build up to the first, least threatening boss in this game fucking owns any Blight Ganon. It's dark, misty. The only light is the eye of the foe you have to face. It doesn't even start fighting until you lock eyes with it. God, it's so good. Queen Goma. She gives birth, like as an attack. Eventually, she dies in a surprisingly brutal way. The Deku Tree reveals that he wants Link to do a little more than just swat a spider, and that he needs to go outside. He offers Link the Kokiri Emerald, warns him about dangerous forces in Hyrule, and tells him to find the princess. From here, Link watches his father figure die right in front of him and has to abandon his home and friends. On the way out, he gets berated by Mido and accused of killing the Deku Tree. Link is risking his life by stepping outside. The Kokiri were always led to believe that the forest would kill them. It is a huge leap to step out into Hyrule proper. Saria, Link's childhood friend, asks him if he's really leaving. There's an awkwardness in this scene, a humanity attached to Link. He's given an ocarina as a gift, a token of their friendship, and hesitates one last time, unsure of what to do before running off. Holy fuck. This is K-Bora Gay-Bora. He's fucking huge. I genuinely did not realize how big he was. He tells Link about the world. Hold B to skip the dialogue. It's really that simple. This guy's infamous for talking too much and playing pranks on you by swapping the yes and no options periodically to make sure you aren't just skipping through. Uh-oh, nighttime. Damn, I wonder why they closed the bridge. Oh, this was pretty scary as a kid. They won't pop up unless you leave the path. They look both goofy and scary at the same time, especially the big ones. Did you know? There is no limit on how big these guys can get. If you keep killing them, they will keep respawning bigger each time. The only limit is that they disappear when the sun rises. Welcome to JPEG City. This is rough, I know. You gotta understand that Ocarina of Time was meant to be viewed on a CRT monitor, where wow, that blends way better. Regardless, Castletown is so nostalgic. There is a lot to do here, but what Link can do first is talk to this fucking ginger. Malon is a young girl who works on the nearby Lon Lon Ranch. Apparently her dad is missing after trying to deliver milk to Hyrule Castle. Link heads over to Hyrule Castle himself. Unsurprisingly, they don't just allow random kids to just run in, breaking and entering. Did you know? The guards will actually have a harder time seeing you at night, making it easier to sneak around. Okay, this is genuinely kinda cool for a tiny part of an N64 game. The drawbridge is closed, so Link has to go around the side. Oh, right. Well, shit. So this is Malon's dad, huh? Guess gotta go back then. Look who it is! Malon offers him an egg? What the fuck is he supposed to do with an egg? Oh, this implies Link put the egg in his pocket, and then later within his pocket, a fucking chicken was born. What the hell is he supposed to do with a chicken? Fucking wake him up with— oh, for fuck's sake. Well, he lifts his milk jugs off the dirt and hauls ass to find his daughter. And I still don't think the royal family got their delivery of milk. Father of the Year award goes to Midlife Crisis Mario. And he's into the castle's gardens with the goofiest song in the entire series. Me when I commit a crime against the kingdom. After sneaking past the guards, he can make his way to Zelda herself. Did you know? If you look in the window, you can see the Mario cast, including Yoshi. I'm a fucking animal! If you shoot the window, you get money, and if you shoot the other window, a royal guard decides the best way to deal with petty vandalism is to blow up a child. What? Link talks to Zelda, who has somehow not noticed his antics or the scorch marks in her garden. She tells Link about the dreams she's been having. Just like Link, she warned of a man named Ganondorf, the man right behind her. Within the window, he can be seen bowing to the king, swearing his loyalty. Ganondorf, the king of the Gerudo, is swearing allegiance to the king right off the heels of the Hyrulean Civil War, a conflict that ended with the Gerudo Desert being declared part of Hyrule. Zelda suspects that he has a more sinister intentions and sends Link on a quest to acquire the other sacred stones, one from the Gorons and the other from the Zora. On his way out, he's met by Impa, Zelda's bodyguard, who teaches him Zelda's lullaby. Then she fucking flashbangs him. Now that he's officially on an adventure, he should go back and tell Sari about it. Heading back home, she's apparently gone deep into the woods. Awesome. Link follows her song until he eventually reaches the forest meadow, and dag, what the fuck? How did she get in here? It is fucking filled with monsters. Eventually he reaches the end, and there she is. This is really the last goodbye. Who knows how long Link will be gone, and they both know that. Sari offers one last gift. A song. Her song. One that will let her communicate with Link, so she's never out of reach. Like a magic phone call. Link leaves the forest for hopefully the last time and makes his way back to Kakariko Village, the recovered settlement of the Sheikah. Death Mountain? Why would you send a child to a place called Death Mountain? But I have a sneaking suspicion that his Deku shield won't be useful in a volcano. Thankfully, this guard on the edge of Castletown has no problem with him, vandalizing property damage. What do you think Navi is feeling right now? She started the game by insulting and harassing Link for being lazy. Now he's doing his iconic deranged nonsense. Do you think she regrets anything? Having to accompany this competent idiot who sometimes just fucks with people for fun, I guess. He can now acquire the shield, and also while he's here, why doesn't he check out the Happy Mask salesman and rent himself a new accessory? Heading back over to Death Mountain, the fucking guard makes fun of Link, but he declares that he's on official business. Also, he can read, hopefully. Yeah, Link has to show him what is essentially a written permission slip to go into a volcano. First though, the man who just bullied a child has the audacity to ask that same child to bring him a mask for his son. Oh, this mask? I didn't think he'd wear the mask. Does he want it? I don't think his son is getting that mask. I don't think his son is real. Before heading into a volcano, why not test some of the new permissions granted to Link by the royal family? Kakariko Graveyard has a tomb that is definitely haunted. Just by walking near it, it causes rain to start pouring down. So this is editing me after a night of no sleep, accidentally. Don't ask. Basically, I was working and I looked out the window and it was bright outside. And I was like, that's not real. That's what happens in like movies and shit. That doesn't happen to real people. It did. So, oh God. Okay. So I just realized now that I wanted to get that cool shot of the gravestone exploding so much that I made sure that I was actually recording, which ruined the fucking shot because my GeForce Experience overlay blocks the money shot, you know? Oh my God. Okay, so you're just gonna have to deal with this recreation that I made. I hope it's basically the same thing. Playing the password on a little flute causes the oh, fuck. This is the royal family's tomb. Oh. Right, well, honestly, probably might be Link's fault for jumping down into a tomb. I mean, human remains are to be expected. Oh, what the fuck is that? I have a feeling I was supposed to leave this section for later. At the end of the tomb is the Sun Song, composed by the Composer Brothers. I had Mandela affected my brain into thinking that the bros taught you the song itself, but no. Neither actually appear unless you read their gravestone, in which they shit. Well, that was traumatic. Ooh, what's wrong with her? She's lost her chickens? Well, fuck me, better go help her out. Bottle. I love bottle. It looks like a plastic bag, especially if you put a fish in it. It looks like a fish you would win at a fair. So what can we do with this bottle? You can put fish, bugs, drinks, and of course, fairies. I wonder what Navi thinks about you putting one of her kind in a bottle. Okay, Death Mountain time. It's mountainy and very deathy. Link heads up to the major settlement, Goron City. God, I love that theme. Chief Daruni is angrily sulking by himself in his room and won't leave. He's so fucking angry. The Gorons are starving. How about Link cheers someone up? Maybe Saria might know. Let's give her a call. What is he? Oh, holy shit. Oh, whoa, oh, whoa. Go, Boulder Boy, go. He offers Link the Goron bracelet, a bracelet that enhances his strength. If he can clear Dodongo's cavern, giving the Goron some food to eat, he will give Link the stone. With his newfound strength, he can pull a bomb flower right out of the ground to clear the boulder from the way. Well, I mean, this is the Goron dungeon. This will be fun. Okay. Venturing through the cavern, we find many things like laser, explosive lizards, and oh shit, it's tough, but Link fails. Yeah, I should have seen that one coming. He's like 12, not exactly equipped to deal with 2 in a sword fight. Well, oh shit, yeah, I forgot. This has a few implications I enjoy. For one, this ain't your modern Zelda fairy. It takes a minute to realize what's going on. Our current Link doesn't even fall down. He is still alive as the fairy heals him. This guy, on the other hand, is dead. It implies that Link now knows what death feels like. That's kind of fucked. That's a bit fucked up for this kid. He just gets back up after being stabbed to death. He finishes off the Los Elfos twice, eventually getting a bag of bombs. Link's arsenal is looking great. We got sticks, nuts, slingshot, illegal explosives. With that, Link can bomb the skull and enter its mouth. Okay, that's 2 for 2. Hopping down a big hole, it's King Dodongo. He's dead. Just rolled into a pit of lava. Did you know if you pause the game, he loses the charred texture? Except on my version. No, I swear this is real, but I went to record it, and it didn't happen. With that, Link is now a swarm brother of the Gorons. What's next? They suggest heading up to the mountain to see the Great Fairy. Scaling the mountain, Link finds oh wowee, my god, those are sharp. Outside, Gaebora Kbora offers to take Link down the mountain. How is he gonna do that? Oh shit. Why does he drop him off on top of a building? Guess what time it is? Zora. Heading up to the river, eventually, there it is. Zora's Domain. Modern Zora's Domain has nothing on this, I'm sorry. It's so genuinely peaceful here, and also it's just a cool cave. Link can jump off a cliff and dunk his head underwater for a reward. That reward being the silver scale. It makes him dive deeper? I don't know, man. From here, the shortcut to Lake Hylia, a beautiful lake, is open. God, the night in this game is so atmospheric, simply effervescent. There's a bottle at the bottom that, uh-oh, cry for help. What to do? Save it.
There is a moment I would like to highlight here. Link ends up back in the Lost Woods. There, with the flute, is the Skull Kid. Navi wonders if this is what happens to children who get lost in the forest. The Skull Kid is a lost child. We can see that they're friends with Saria, as it's through her song that Link can befriend them and sell the mask. I don't know why I love this scene so much. It is genuinely just so innocent and childish. The Skull Kid is probably overjoyed to have a friend and a cool mask. Just two friends playing music together in the woods with their wind instruments. It's nice. Returning to Zora's domain, Link gives the king the note and yeah, right. Funniest observation of 2009. The king takes too fucking long to move. Okay, this is weirdly unnerving. What would a big fish take as an offering? I guess we could use that funfair fish from earlier. Okay, that's 3 for 3. Although this one is a little more clearer. That is 3 dungeons involving going into the mouth of a big creature, triple vor, in a row. It's pretty gross. Down somewhere in the gut is Princess Ruto, Princess of the Zora, who is going to fall down a hole. Link has to escort her through the big fish, acquiring a boomerang along the way. For anyone who has played the game before, you ever just forget that there was a boomerang? It's used once. I generally love Ruto. It's such a fun addition to have a companion you have to just carry around. It is charming how she just treats Link like actual dirt. Also, she can be used as a projectile, so do with that info what you will. Holy shit, that was quick. Link throws Ruto up onto the platform to acquire the spiritual stone and... Using the power of the boomerang, Link can vanquish the octopus from this realm. And speaking of boomerang, the reason why this is the boomerang dungeon is because anywhere else, the boomerang collides with the walls. It doesn't here because it cuts through him. Imagine all the gunk and gore that would end up on the boomerang. We can literally see the blood. Imagine being Lord Jabu Jabu. It's time to save Ruto from the holy fuck Baronade. The whatever this is. This fight is fucked. You have to sever its things. The fight ends with it exploding, leaving a bloody puddle on the ground. Ruto! She's alive. This is where things get interesting, as it seems she's developed a crush on Link, and Link asks directly for the Zora's Sapphire. She tells him that she's only supposed to give it to someone she intends to marry, to think of it as an engagement ring. I find this scene interesting, especially because after acquiring the stone, we get a little bit of dialogue, not between any characters. Link, doesn't know what marriage is? This is a fantastic detail because, yeah, obviously not. Link isn't just a kid, he's also a kid that grew up in a completely isolated community, deep in the woods, separate from the world, told that if he ever left, if he ever ventured out, he would literally die from leaving home. Despite being extremely capable, a clearly intelligent kid when it comes to logic and problem solving, he probably doesn't even know what a restaurant is. Due to Link's role as a vessel for the audience, their connection to Hyrule, not just a point of view but a direct reflection of the player, Link is generally what you make of him. As capable as you are, as smart as you are, as obnoxious or destructive as you are. However, Link is rarely that simple. It's through subtext that the franchise tells his story, as Link is more than an avatar. With the Zora Sapphire, Link has collected all the stones, and now Ocarina of Time can really start. By finishing the mask quest. The Running Man is fucking mental. Before going to Zelda, it is probably a good idea to visit the ranch. It is also probably a good idea to check up on Malin after her whole neglectful parent thingy. She's still calling Link fairy boy, but that's country life for you. Link and Malin share a nice little moment, bonding over their music. She shares with him a song her mother composed, someone who for one reason or another is out of the picture. Afterwards, a foal that was once scared of Link is now attached. her name being Epona. Well, with that, it's probably high time to report back to the princess. It's late at night and a storm brews in the sky. Dark clouds enveloping the castle. The drawbridge ominously drops and a white horse dashes out. It's Zelda. The slow realization that this is the nightmare. Link just lost. Zelda hurls something at Link and it lands into the moat. Another horse emerges. Who else other than Ganondorf? Link tries to defend against him. Ganondorf tells Link that he likes his attitude, but of course he sends him straight to the ground and gallops off. The morning sun breaks through the clouds, and Link jumps into the moat to grab the Ocarina of Time. He's met with a vision of Zelda telling him what to do and teaching him the Song of Time. Castletown is ominous, not because of any particular difference, but the lack thereof. Life is mostly normal, with small hints that something is wrong. Townsfolk theorize about what's going on, about what happened. They wonder if they should move. The music never stops. The sun still shines, but you can sense the unease and anxiety present within everyone. Despite trying to keep up appearances, there's one straggler from the attack on Hyrule Castle, a lone guard slumped up against the wall in the back alleys. With his final breaths, he pleads with Link to help, tells him there's been an attack. If he truly is the boy Zelda trusted, then he must go to the Temple of Time to try to stop Ganondorf. He then dies, right in front of this child. He's no longer moving. Link uses the Song of Time and the 3 spiritual stones in there is the Master Sword. This is it. The ticket out of here. The key. The one thing he can use to fight back against Ganondorf. However, that's not what happens. In all reality, Link should have died right here, but he doesn't. Still, this moment that we're supposed to understand as triumphant is undercut in 2 major ways. For the second time in a row, Link lost. By taking the sword Link is sealed away, he is simply not ready to wield it, not ready to be the hero. By opening everything up and removing the sword, Link also let Ganondorf gain access to the Sacred Realm, offering up power like nothing else. Ganondorf won. Link's vision returns, across from him the Sage of Light Rauru, or as Link might know him, Gaebora Kaebora. He tells Link about what happened, but most importantly, tells him to look at himself. It's been 7 years. Link is now an adult and has changed drastically. Now fit to wield the Master Sword, Rauru bestows upon him the Medallion of Light and sends him back into the real world. As Link goes to leave the Temple of Time, he senses that he's not alone and draws his sword. Turning around, he sees Sheik, the survivor of the Sheikah, the last of their kind. Holy fuck. I think because of how iconic this game is, we don't take a step back to look at how it aged. I'm not talking graphically. This game is so fucking 90s. I think the fantasy aesthetic masks it a little bit, but it is very exposed with Sheik. Look at him! The bodysuit, the bandages, the hair, everything. Not even Link is free. I mean, come on, with that popped collar and middle part, state this design in such a wonderful way. She tells Link that he needs to venture across Hyrule to have a chance to fight back. Now that he's the hero of time, Sheik suggests Link reaches out to an old friend. He calls Saria, who is relieved to hear he's alive, but she's trapped in the temple in the forest meadow. The Temple of Time is noticeably darker, ominous. Castletown is completely destroyed, populated with walking corpses. From Link's perspective, it hasn't even been an hour. In the blink of an eye, the entire city has just been destroyed. An entire monarchy has just been toppled. It is genuinely unsettling. Link walks through the rubble and into the outside world. Link must return to the graveyard in Kakariko Village to explore the grave of Dampé, a character who used to be alive when he was a child, but unfortunately has passed away in the time since. Within his hut is a journal, one that details a treasure he used to have. Link needs this treasure to progress, and therefore has to venture down into his grave. Dampé's ghost is there and leads him on a chase. If Link can get there in time, he will be rewarded with the treasure. Returning to the forest, he finds the entire thing has been infested with monsters. Not a single person recognizes him. They all think he's some stranger. All his childhood friends are the exact same. The first part of Link's story is a very direct confrontation with his childhood, the destruction of the once innocent, and to some degree is the struggle with identity. To return to a home that hasn't just been decaying, but nobody you once knew has any idea who you are. Venturing into the woods, Link is now attacked on sight by the Skull Kid, someone who previously was his friend. Now they can't recognize him at all. It's better to just leave him alone. Deep in the woods is Mido, guarding the forest meadow on behalf of Saria. He also doesn't recognize Link. He can be convinced by playing Saria's song since she only shares it with friends. From there, Link enters the forest meadow. If we consider this section to be Link's introduction to his new identity, his new world, then witnessing the decay of Hyrule would be the emotional low point. With this section being the high point, an expression of Link's new capabilities. While everything is in ruin, while you have the weight of the world on your shoulders, you can at least dome a big fucking monster. I do genuinely feel like this scene is supposed to represent your newfound strength. It is a cell section with moblins, beasts that tower over him. It is noticeably more intense than what young Link has gone through. Slipping up leads to him getting stabbed and flung off, yet prevailing feels fucking cool. Getting backstabs and headshots on these fuckers feels awesome. They're moblins who previously were the Zelda enemy, the iconic one, Ganon's foot soldiers. It truly feels like Link is now that legendary hero, destroying moblins like it's nothing. Link faces off against a giant moblin and once again returns to the last spot he ever saw Saria. The flow of time is always cruel. Its speed seems different for each person, but no one can change it. A thing that doesn't change with time is a memory of younger days. Link learns the minuet of forest and can grapple his way up to the forest temple. The Forest Temple is a mesmerizing environment. It isn't really a temple, not a place for worship, but a castle. Its opulence lost to time. It is almost eerie on concept alone. There are outdoor courtyard areas that let you view the castle walls. The idea of this place where people once lived, the entire thing hidden away as nature takes its grasp over it, a secret lying in the forest encapsulated by trees. The dungeon is centered around a ghost hunt. Link must traverse through the castle hunting ghosts, Joelle, Beth, Amy and Meg. What's interesting is the major fight. The Stelfos. These guys are really interesting. This really is the first proper fight. It is significant on two major levels. For one, it is a mirror of the Lizalfos, however, it is completely different. While they were frantic, the Stelfos are controlled. Link's fighting style has changed. Due to the use of the Hylian shield in Dodongo's cavern, Link fought them by literally cowering, going as defensive as possible. Now Link is at more liberty to be the aggressor, while the Stelfos can go on the defensive. Narratively too, they're significant, but we're not quite there yet. Link acquires a bow and can go out on the ghost hunt, showing the vengeful spirits of Joelle, Beth, Amy, and Meg. Meg duplicates herself and is the toughest of the sisters, but she dies again, just like the rest. Link has to make his way down to the art gallery, ending up in a circular room of the same painting over and over. Well, this is a bit fucking boring. Turning around and Link sees Ganondorf, pretty much exactly as he last saw him. Link is already coming up against a manifestation of his failures. To make it worse, he immediately burns his face off and the fight begins. The body burns up, charring. Ganondorf himself comments on the progress Link has made. He banishes his phantom down into the gap between dimensions, considering it to be a pitiful being. Link finds himself within the Chamber of Sages. Saria, Link's childhood friend, is now a sage. She tells him that he doesn't need to explain anything, that she knew she couldn't occupy the same world as him. There's an implication that the sages die in their respective temples. Whether you believe that or not, the sages are functionally dead. This is Link losing a childhood friend in one way or another, mirroring Link's loss of a father figure in the Great Deku Tree. Saria will always be your friend. Link returns to Hyrule, descending right outside the corpse of the Great Deku Tree. In front of him is a small sprout that he cautiously inspects before getting flung on his ass. It's the Great Deku Tree! He's here again. Nature is literally healing. He asked Link if nobody recognized him, which they didn't. The Kokiri never age, and yet Link did. The Deku Tree tells him that's because he's not Kokiri, he's a Hylian, and that he's an orphan. His parents a victim of the Hyrulean Civil War. His mother was gravely injured. Her last bet to keep her baby safe was to enter the Forbidden Forest and offer her baby into the protection of the Deku Tree. She died and Link was raised as a Kokiri until, well, you know the rest. Venturing back out into the world, Navi advises Link to check out the weird ring over Death Mountain. However, what about horse? The ranch is now owned by Ingo, a man who previously was just an employee. Ingo is a complete piece of shit and an animal abuser. He's a massive Ganondorf simp and wants to present him the perfect horse. Link can pay to ride around on some horses, but he needs Epona. By playing the song, she recognizes him, and after bonding for a bit, Link can take her on a race with Ingo. Winning the race makes Ingo very distressed. He wants a rematch and offers the horse up as a prize. Winning again, which I did, first time, definitely didn't get stuck. And my footage definitely didn't corrupt. Ingo, now out of ideas, locks Link in and won't let him leave. Link jumps out the side of the ranch. Okay, editing me, hi. So this is, I fucked up badly. My recording software just started fucking pissing and shitting and recorded my browser for like 10 minutes while I frantically tried to look up how to stop shadow play. When I returned to the game, Link was, in the sky on a fake horse. So, whoops! Returning to Kakariko Village, it really hasn't changed much. Some of the people from Castletown have moved and set up shop here instead. The mountain is even more deathy than normal, with big boulders running down. Whoa! You made it to the intermission. This is the middle point of the video! Sorry about that. This is where we just take a little bit of a break to talk about some things. This is also where I tell you to follow me on Twitter. Please do that. Send me fan art. This isn't a request anymore. This is an order. Send me fan art now. Fuck you, dipshit. Let's get back to the cringe.
So for this video, can I get all the girls to comment a red heart? Only girls. I'm serious this time. I'm not playing. If I see one boy, I'm deleting the app. I'm serious now. I'm just getting pissed.
Goron City is empty, except for one little guy. Fuck this guy. Yes, it's me again. I don't know if it was something tied to my frame rate, but this guy would not stop. You're supposed to scare him with a fucking bomb flower, but he wouldn't stop no matter what I tried. I felt like it was a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon where I was chasing him and he just kept owning me no matter what.
Listen closely, approach me. Suckers want me. Try to treat me like greater than post me impossible. I cut a sucker in small chunks, make more rhymes than Michael Jordan makes slams. Let's go.
I got knocked on my ass a few times. Eventually Link stops. Link. They named the kid after him. Man, that's... wow. Goron Link is extremely stressed, however, because all the Gorons are gone. Imprisoned within the Fire Temple, and the dragon, Volvagia, has gone crazy. He gives Link the Goron tunic, which protects him from the burning air of Death Mountain. From there, we can buy a new sword. 200 rupees? What a steal. Venturing out into the Death Mountain crater, it is no surprise that Link runs into Sheik. He talks about friendship, the strength it has, and also how our bonds can grow over time. The Blare of Fire is a surprisingly good piece, with some genuinely really good camera work for an N64 game. It is something that grows over time. A true friendship. A feeling in the heart that becomes even stronger over time. The passion of friendship will soon blossom into a righteous power, and through it, you will know which way to go. This song is dedicated to the power of the heart. Listen to the bolero of fire. Entering, Link finds none other than Darunia, here to fight the dragon and save the Gorons himself. He enters the room and leaves, the door relocking. The Fire Temple is harsh and eerie. While the Forest Temple feels haunted, the Fire Temple feels spiritual. It feels grand and important, like it is genuinely hiding and sealing something away. There's a lot to go through, but the most important thing is, sword broke, it's fucked. I mean, you can kinda use it as a dagger, big heavy one. The big thing this time is freeing all the imprisoned Gorons and getting the Megaton Hammer. Whee! The hammer is extremely useful. This dungeon is so interesting to me. It does genuinely have a more temple feel than the rest. It doesn't feel like a place corrupted by time or by Ganondorf's influence. It feels like a naturally hostile environment, and that is on some level obviously true. It's in a volcano after all. However, I mean, it feels like a place designed to be dangerous, treacherous, to keep trespassers out. The Forest Temple looks like the bones of a place people once lived. A grand castle, enemies consist of plants, spiders, and of course, the dead. It feels like an environment that gained its spiritual significance over time as nature took its hold and claimed it as its own, and as the dead made it their home. Even the mini-boss works for this. But in the Fire Temple, the mini-boss is made of fire. It's natural, it's there, part of the environment. The Stalfos, on the other hand, well, you know, I'll get to that. Freeing the final Goron, his cell has the key to Volvagia. Of course, Darunia is long gone. He knew that he wasn't ready to take on the dragon, lacking the Megaton Hammer. Volvagia emerges from the lava. It's tense. As expected, Darunia is now the Sage of Fire, offering up the medallion as a literal token of friendship, a friendship now lost. Nature is now restored to the region. The ominous ring around the volcano and dark sky is now cleared. Returning to Goron City. Fuck this guy! Shit! Fucking swordsmith! His brother, Big Goron? Now that's where it's at. I mean, holy shit! Look at that guy! Unfortunately, he won't make Link a sword right now. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but Link was given an egg. Yeah, remember her? Just giving out eggs. If I had a nickel for every time Link hatched a chicken in his pocket, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. She'd probably give it back though. Oh, she wants to give him another? It's blue. Welcome to Kojiro. He will only crow for his owner, who is this lady's brother, which means to find the guy, Link needs to listen and see if Kojiro crows. Surprisingly enough, he finally crows when entering the Lost Woods. Here is the carpenter's son. He used to sit under the same tree his father did, only at night, 7 years ago. Now he's here, where he really shouldn't be. He talks about how disgusting he finds everyone, but showing him Kojiro makes him consider Link a nice guy. It gives him a mushroom that needs to be taken to the witch behind the potion shop. Bringing her the shroom, she complains about how the carpenter's son is useless and idiotic. She makes an odd poultice out of the mushroom, a form of medicine for him. Link has to race back before it's too late. Ooh. What's blue fire? That seems interesting. Oh, he's gone. Fido stands instead, tells Link that he's now a Stalfos. Any adult who gets lost in the woods without a fairy gets turned into a Stalfos. Everyone Stalfos. When Link confronts the Stalfos in the Forest Temple, he is literally being shown what he could have been. If he didn't have Navi, he too would be nothing but a skeleton wandering the forest. Link isn't fighting monsters, he's fighting other adventurers, ones that weren't as lucky as he was. Fado asks for the poultice, as it's made of forest mushrooms and therefore doesn't belong to him. Fado gives Link a saw, the only thing left behind by the carpenter's son. It's his father's. Link has to return the saw to the father, who is camping out in Gerudo Valley, trying to fix the bridge. In return, he gives Link a broken Bigoron sword. He doesn't know now that his son is dead. Link then must bring the sword back to the big Oron. However, he won't be able to make it because he can't see. So he takes the sword but gives Link a prescription for eye drops. So Link has to take the prescription to Zora's domain where, that's not good. King Zora is frozen, sitting basically in the exact same place he was 7 years ago. Although that eyes looks weird. Looks kind of red. Guess I should try my cool blue fire I just bought. That was cool. Damn. For Link's effort saving him, KZ, that's what his close friends call him, you wouldn't get it. He gives Link the Zora tunic, which allows him to breathe underwater. I don't know how. I don't fully get it. If Link already has the tunic before saving King Zora, instead he'll just offer him a smooch. I mean, I just want to highlight this one comment. We love our bisexual king. KZ unfortunately cannot fulfill the prescription as he doesn't have any eye drops, but does give Link a frog. The frog will spoil The frog can be brought to the scientist by Lake Hylia, who is just so fucking happy that he gets to eat a frog. He's jumping with joy. He will not be able to eat the frog, and he makes eye drops that will expire. There's no preservatives. Why not? Eventually, Link climbs Death Mountain once again and can hand the eye drops over to Big Oron, who gives him a claim check for a new sword. A few days later, it can be returned and finally, a new sword. It's been a stressful week. Past the yaoi cocaine. Okay, where to next? Oh shit, yeah. King Zora asks for Link's help as usual. Lord Jabu Jabu is just gone. In their place, a bunch of ice. Welcome to Ice Cavern. Ow. This whole fucking thing is a death trap. Ice Cavern is deadly. Fucking Jesus. At the end is a White Wolfos, the boss of this dungeon. Oh, well. Time passes, people move. Like a river's flow, it never ends. A childish mind will turn to noble ambition. Young love will become deep affection. The clear water surface reflects growth. Now listen to the serenade of water to reflect upon yourself. Playing the song brings Link to Lake Hylia, which is now miserable and dried up. The last little body of water surrounding the water temple. Now, I could complain about the water temple, but I won't because that would be stupid. Sure, it's a bit tedious, but it is a beautifully atmospheric place. It also feels corrupted, as if over time its true purpose was lost. It is said that it was designed to worship water spirits. Regardless, I want to drink it. Just dunk my face in. That shit looks so fresh. At the bottom of the temple, Link runs into Princess Ruto. This callback to a throwaway line about marriage is so interesting to me. Despite the huge gap in time, Link still has no real idea what she's talking about. From his perspective, it's been days, but from hers, it's been over half a decade. By lowering and raising the levels, Link can make his way through the underwater labyrinth until he is inexplicably outside. A foggy, shallow lake. Rocks off in the distance imply something more. What used to be a full wall is nothing but a small building and a doorway. A little island sits between the opposite doorway. As Link traverses the lake, he reaches the other side of the island, but something about him is missing. He's lost his reflection. Dark Link is an intense fight, matching Link's movements, except he can jump onto the Master Sword. Dark Link only matches Link's heart count and basic equipment. With each hit, the shadow seems to gain its form. It also gets stronger, almost like it's learning from Link and quickly becoming a better doppelganger with each slip-up. As he dies, the room returns to normal and the illusion is over. If the room wasn't real, it makes you wonder how this happened, and just what exactly Link fought. From here, Link gains the long shot, an upgrade to his hookshot, and a very funny name. Using this, Link can finally free the temple, unlocking the final door. A voice cries out, warning Link that the pool in front of him isn't water, it's Morpha, a big watery tentacle that grabs Link and flings him around the room. Unsurprisingly, Ruto is the Sage of Water. Once more we see this idea of marriage come up. The water medallion symbolizing the eternal love she would have given him if she wasn't a sage. She encourages Link, gives him hope that Zelda's still around, still alive. The lake is now restored. As water fills the area, Sheik and Link share a quiet, peaceful moment as they stare off at the lake, illuminated by the rising morning sun. However, it doesn't last long. as Sheik jumps away and swims off. Straight in the morning sun lets Link the fire arrows. Here we can see a trend: childhood, friendship, family and love, and interestingly, the fact that Link has to give them up. The great responsibility they all share has killed their connections. For Hyrule to heal, Link must lose some part of him, have it distilled into an object, a token of friendship, of brotherhood and of love. As Link is forced to grow up, he's also forced to sever ties with these aspects of himself. By missing out on the formative years of his life, in a sense, he's losing out on all those ideas anyway. Too preoccupied with destiny and responsibility to have friends, his family ripped away from him not once, not twice, but in some way, for a third time. Link doesn't say much, but he doesn't have to. His story isn't told through the words he says, but what he goes through. Link slowly but steadily heals Hyrule, taking it back to its former glory, and while Hyrule gains, Link loses the only thing he has: his connections. Kakariko Village is on fire. Welcome to the final act. Sheik stands sternly staring down at the well. He warns Link to step back before the top of the well inexplicably flies off, as if something has just escaped. A strange black mist emerges from the well and crawls back around, presumably to finish Sheik off. Link tries to defend him, but he's knocked unconscious, in a moment eerily similar to the one that started all of this. Sheik tells Link that the spirit was sealed under the well by Impa, but now it's broken, and that Impa has gone to the Shadow Temple. He teaches Link a melody, one that will bring him down into the infinite darkness that absorbs even time. Playing the song brings Link to the graveyard. The area is bathed in shadow as a great big intimidating door stands tall, bearing the Sheikah insignia. Link can't open it. Even if he could, it wouldn't matter. His eyes aren't good enough. The eye is too fallible, too prone to lying. Instead, he must see the truth. This one moment is something that has bothered me for a long time. Let me just show you what has to be done. Link returns to being a child, 7 years in the past, as if he never touched the sword. It's an interesting angle, isn't it? How time works in regards to the Master Sword is a bit nebulous. I'm not going to get into a lore discussion because that's not really what this is about, but I can say that it raises a lot of questions. Hyrule Castle, a place that has just been ravaged, trying to keep up appearances so as to not alarm the citizens. It's right outside here that Link can find another great fairy, one that can grant him the ability to cast fire. However, he is not ready yet to face the Shadow Temple. Instead, he must confront the Well, a place that used to be the house of a man who could see the truth. How cryptic. What can you expect? A dank old cave? An ancient cistern? Not quite. Link is presented with a tight crawling space and a short drop before the bottom of the well. This is where the spirit was imprisoned. A torture chamber. Blood smears across every surface, staining discarded torture devices. People's remains can be found everywhere. The dead roam each room and hall, manifesting in different forms. The entire place is built like a trap. It's almost playful in how it tries to kill Link. The well almost feels like a reminder of your renewed vulnerability. Now that you're a child again, it's almost a reminder that you really should be scared. It also to some degree is a reminder of Link's new mental state. He's been through so much and had to mature so fast that, despite on the surface looking like any other child, he's now capable of confronting these horrors. There is something particularly cruel about forcing young Link to deal with this, however, as it is the first time worthy of stopping and thinking about what exactly we're here for, as this decrepit horrific place has the royal family's insignia.
Smells like pee-pee and poo-poo in here.
It's gotta be Tony.
No, seriously, why does it smell like caca and wee-whiz in here?
In a room made of skulls, several blood-covered hands with long claw-like nails stick out of the ground. There's really not much to do except try to cut them down. The beast is covered in blood, but we know that it's not its own, as it has green blood. He can now return to the future. Casting Din's fire lights every torch and finally opens the door. The Shadow Temple. Here is gathered Hyrule's bloody history of greed and hatred, where the royal family took dissenters in to be interrogated, tortured, and of course, executed. A place built by the Sheikah in service to the royal family, who thanked the Sheikah by letting them get wiped out in the Civil War, letting the secret of the Shadow Temple die with them. It is a fascinating turn to just drop this on Link, to force him to confront the horrors of the country he's saving, the monarchy that his actions will inevitably bring back if he succeeds. Link in his quest to purify the kingdom bring it to its former glory, is no longer just cleaning out Ganondorf's mess, but Hyrule's. Its imagery is vile when thought about. Link has to confront the twisted leftovers from Hyrule's torture victims, misshapen and horrific, people contorted into monsters. The amount of remains is staggering. So many dead people that entire rooms are constructed out of it. The Dit Hand is defeated once again, giving Link the hover boots, allowing him to cross bigger gaps and walk on air for a short time, before reaching the ferry to the other world, a boat which crosses what is clearly supposed to be the River Styx. Although given the royal family's insignia, there's only one song that could work, a child's lullaby. It's coming to the end and Link finally has to face off against the spirit, one that he simply couldn't see. Meeting with Impa, the Sage of Shadow. She tells Link not to worry about Zelda, that she's safe and he'll hear from her soon, leaving Link with one medallion, one final sage, Gerudo Desert. The carpenter who gave Link that sword. Turns out all his employees are missing, as they've been kidnapped by a group of thieves. They're being held up in prison within a fortress. Link must infiltrate the hideout and take out the guards to free the prisoners, fighting off more trained guards in the process, eventually finding the last person. After freeing him and defeating the last guard, Link has proven himself worthy and can now move freely throughout the fortress. A Gerudo opens the gate and Link can enter the Haunted Wasteland, a vast desert in which it is easy to get lost.
Did you know? If you play the Song of Storms, you can see the silhouette of the flagpoles easier.
Living up to its name, Link must traverse through the desert aided by a ghost, eventually ending up at the desert Colossus, the Spirit Temple. Link is immediately met with a problem. On one side is a gap he can't possibly fit through, on the other is a rock he can't move, with nowhere else to go but back. G jumps down to teach the final song, the Requiem of Spirit. Past, present, future. The Master Sword is a ship which you can sail upstream and downstream through Time's river. The port of that ship is in the Temple of Time. To restore the Desert Colossus and enter the Spirit Temple, you must travel back through Time's flow. Listen to this Requiem of Spirit. This melody will lead a child back to the desert. Once again, Link has to travel back in time. It's almost as if the Spirit Temple sees through the facade of Link, forcing him to take the challenge on as his true self. Nabooru, a Gerudo trying to plot against Ganondorf, blocks the way forward. It's so interesting to hear that at this time, Ganondorf's worst deeds were stealing from women and children, and of course, murder, not knowing that he would do so much worse. She wants Link to get the silver gauntlets for her. Ganondorf is using the temple as a hideout, disgracing an ancient location. Nabooru needs the gauntlets to push that rock and sneak into the side of the temple they're using and steal all of their things. She offers to do something great for Link if he gets the gauntlets. So Link sneaks through, making his way through the dungeon. It feels so grand, so much more important than he is. It is intimidating, but not in the way the Shadow Temple is, but due to the grandiosity of the whole thing. It's a place that could never be understood by anyone. Its true purpose is unknown because it is probably unknowable. This leads to one of my favourite moments, the Iron Knuckle, sitting, waiting to be activated. The true test of Link's capabilities. Stripped of everything, his weapons and stature, forced to use only what he's learnt as now he's reverted to how he was at the very start of the adventure. Each hit is devastating, gravely injuring Link and sending him flying. Finally, Link can grab the silver gauntlets, but first, a final meeting with the owl. Having watched him throughout the entire adventure, Link sees the worst thing that could happen right now. Two Gerudo witches are harassing Nabooru, Kayome and Koteke. They kidnap Nabooru, but there is nothing Link can do. He just has to watch someone he can't save. 7 years in the future, Link returns to the Spirit Temple, now able to pull the blockade himself and venture further into the Spirit Temple. By the way, he can hookshot onto the boobies and they hurt. Light leaks through cracks in the temple. It is so old it is a miracle that it's still together. However, these beams of light are extremely useful as the next piece of equipment is the mirror shield. Link fights another Iron Knuckle, getting to the other side of the giant statue where he can acquire the shield. With this, he can disintegrate the face of the statue inside, letting him crawl further into the dungeon, leading to another, bigger Iron Knuckle. Kayome and Koteke stand there and notice his presence, leaving to reveal just how much bigger this Iron Knuckle is. The armor breaks off, revealing Nabooru. However, her freedom is short-lived, as Kayome and Koteke take her away once again, leaving only one thing left. Link has to fight Ganondorf's surrogate mothers. Using the mirror shield, Link can deflect their magic at the other sister, hurting them. After getting hurt enough, they resort to fusing as one twin Rova. like that, Koumi and Koteki are defeated. The last scene of comical relief. The sisters bicker with each other, not initially realizing that they just died. They argue about their age before promising to come back and haunt Link. Niburu is now the Sage of Spirit. Unlike the rest, she seems to not fully understand why or how. She thanks Link for what he did, and like everyone else, accepts him as an adult and not a child. Rauru speaks to Link, tells him to meet someone who's been waiting for him at the Temple of Time. Link runs into the temple. Behind him is of course Sheik, who truly accepts him as the hero of time. He tells Link a significantly more secretive story about the Triforce, one that he wouldn't have been told prior. When Link opened the door of time 7 years ago, Ganondorf tried to use the Triforce but fractured it instead, leaving him with only the Triforce of Power. Link holds the Triforce of Courage, and of course, who holds the Triforce of Wisdom? The Seventh Sage, Princess Zelda. She apologizes for disguising herself and for messing up so badly. She feels guilt for what she did and how her actions contributed to Ganondorf's takeover. However, now she's here to right her wrongs. She grants Link the Light Arrows, a weapon that can break through Ganondorf's defenses. The temple starts to shake. Bits of debris fall from the ceiling. She shouldn't have revealed herself. Ganondorf takes her and challenges Link to go back to the castle if he wants to save her. The final push. The castle sits above a great lake of lava, surrounded by a dead wasteland, barely recognizable as the same place Link had to sneak around in. With all his other connections severed, Ganondorf threatens the last one he has left. Within, Link must dispel all the barriers, each of which are linked to the sages, making one final meeting with Saria, Darunia, Ruto, Impa, Niburu, and Rauru. His room being sealed off, requiring the golden gauntlets, which give Link superhuman strength. Link climbs Ganondorf's tower, battling through brutal fights on the way up, the menacing organ music growing stronger. Link eventually reaches the top. With all three Triforce users in the same room, the symbols on their hands activate. Ganondorf turns around, revealing a corrupted shell of the man from 7 years ago. He attempts to take the Triforce back. He makes it so that Navi can't help Link at all, leaving him by himself. It mirrors Link's first fight as an adult. With a few vicious blows, Ganondorf falls to his knees and vomits blood everywhere. Out of rage, he disintegrates the entire room before kneeling over and dying. Link once again killed someone. Not a monster. A terrible person, sure, but a person nonetheless. I wonder if this scene isn't just a showcase of how far Link has come in terms of ability, in terms of strength, but also in what he's willing to do. Zelda is finally freed. The tower begins to crumble, leaving mere minutes for the two to get out alive. They narrowly escape as the tower castle crumbles. Ganon knocks the Master Sword out of Link's hands, leaving him to fight without it. This time Navi and Link will fight together. She's not going to let Ganon get in the way, the oldest connection Link still has. Ganon is downed and Link can grab the Master Sword for one final struggle. Ganon flails around in agony. Zelda uses the last of her power to call upon the sages, and Ganondorf is sealed away. Link and Zelda stand together. She feels so much guilt for what she did, blaming herself for every tragedy. She wants to make up for it, and most importantly, make it up to Link, having dragged him into this, for stealing his childhood from him. She says she can send him back, telling him to close the door of time. She asks for the ocarina back, and with her power as a sage, she can give Link the life he deserved, as she plays her lullaby one last time. However, as sad as it is to say, I don't think that decision will have done any good. Link has to somehow live a normal life after all he has experienced. The forest is safe once again. Epona runs wild and free in Hyrule with her owner now gone, and that night, a huge party is thrown at the ranch. While people all across the country are attending, Mido sits solemnly next to King Zora. I wonder how that feels, to believe that if you ever saw the outside world, you'd die, but now you sit there while your friends are all partying, completely fine. Mido, Link's childhood bully. It feels like an odd reminder of a time where Link's biggest problems was being picked on by another kid. Mido is clearly still grappling with the loss of Saria, however there is one small send-off, as Mido watches the sages fly over the party. They land and watch over the new, saved Hyrule. A beautiful ending, right? I wish it was that simple. Cut to 7 years ago. A new past, a new chance created by Zelda. Link is sent just before he ever met her, and was forced to mature, allowing him to warn her of the crimes Ganondorf will commit. But first, Navi, Link's closest friend and the genuine last connection he has, leaves, presumably having served her purpose. Link reaches Zelda, and just like that, it ends. Link has to somehow live a normal life after all he has experienced. The story is so full of symbolism, so beautiful and poetic, but of course I think it also really resonates with people. Being forced to grow up before you're ready, robbed of a normal childhood, and when the trauma is over and things settle, you just have to go back to normal somehow. However, you can't, can you? Link is now an adult trapped inside a child's body, forced to grow up before he was ready. Zelda just wanted to do the right thing, but maybe she did the worst thing. Never let Link see the world he saved, never get the appreciation he deserves. He has to go back to being a nobody after sacrificing everything to clean up someone else's mess. He is a completely different person to the one who pulled out the Master Sword all that time ago. How could anyone just go back home? They can't. And so he doesn't. Link leaves. Unfortunately, it's not over for him just yet. Link still has one more nightmare to go through.